This is Inside Innocent Minds, the platform for extraordinary people. Innocent Minds, clarity, possibilities, change. Inside Innocent Minds, the platform for extraordinary people.
Hello, good evening. I'd like to welcome you this wonderful Thursday evening to Inside Innocent Minds. My name is Innocent Usa. How are you? I hope you have had a great Saturday. Today is one of those days when I really love what I do. I have one of Nigeria's brightest minds today on the program, and life isn't about how you've always seen it. Life is about how much perspective you have added and how much growing you have had. Today on Inside Innocent Minds, we will be talking about life, change, transformation, the human mind, and actually much more. Trust me on this. This is going to blow you away. We'll take a short break and Inside Innocent Minds will return.
Inside Innocent Minds will be right back. Innocent Minds. Education for real empowerment.
Hello, my name is Innocent Usa. I'm so glad today to talk to you about our organization, Innocent Minds Education and Training. We're involved with some of the most amazing tools that are available out there. Today in the 21st century, we still find many individuals, organizations, and groups involved with trying to get change to happen using very old and worn-out techniques. But I can say to you that what you get out there, the results that you churn out, and all of the things that happen to you are going to be determined by who you are. And who you are is a factor and a function of what you see. What you see is a factor and a function of how much you've put inside of you. Our organization would love to help you in this regard, to put inside of you some of the next generation of clarity, possibilities, and change that will make you stand shoulder and head above all.
Innocent Minds, clarity, possibilities, change. Inside Innocent Minds, the platform for extraordinary people.
I'd like to welcome you back to Inside Innocent Minds. This program is one of a kind. It gets to have you see and listen to people who are doing amazing things out there, and to start with, how they are thinking. Someone has to think a certain way before they become a certain way. One person I'm so proud of who he has evolved into with what he does, with who he is, and the relationships he is, and all of the amazing differences he's creating out there today is my guest. BANKOLE Williams is a life coach and an amazing management consultant. Hi, BANKOLE. Welcome.
Hi, Innocent. Thank you for having me.
What's up, man?
I'm doing great.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I know you love the human mind, and you love behavior change, and you love to see people evolve and transform yourself.
Yeah.
But you haven't always been in this place in your life, coming from where you're coming from. What did you read in school?
Biochemistry, by the way.
Biochemistry?
Yeah.
And you ended up here?
Yes.
Okay, so if you were to follow the Nigerian usual script, it would say, as a biochemist, where were you supposed to be, by the way?
In a lab somewhere, running different tests.
Yeah, but however, you wind up in the human lab where people, are being helped and people are being challenged. Talk to me about this experience with your work. What does your work mean for you?
Well, it means everything. It's the essence for which I live. I am hugely passionate about people living their dreams and living life to the fullest of their potentials. Like you rightly said, I studied a course called biochemistry, a course I had absolutely no business studying. They told me to go to school, get good grades, and get good grades, come out, and in our environment in Africa or in Nigeria, you get a good job. So I got a good job in a bank, and it was something I wasn't passionate about. Yeah, it
But
was.
then it gets to earn you a lot, a couple more bucks than other
yeah,
regular
yeah,
folks.
I was earning a pretty healthy salary, and sometime in 2009, I decided to leave.
You sacked your boss.
Yeah, or I sacked myself. I knew that there was a whole lot more that I could do that I wasn't doing. So I left and I worked with an amazing individual. I was earning less than half of what I used to earn in the bank. Some people thought I'd lost my mind because this was the peak of the economic recession. Banks were laying people off. I was laying myself off, to work with this guy who I felt was leaving a picture of my future. So I worked in a consulting firm for some time before I, set up mine. And primarily because, like you said, I'm passionate about human behavior. I want to help people change. I want to help people live their lives to their fullest, optimize their potentials. But like you also said, I'm fascinated about the mind. And, I think all change that we so desire is in the mind. And that's one of the reasons why I've studied it and I'm exposing people to how it works.
One of the challenges that we've got in Africa, in Nigeria, is the dysfunctionality of family here. And I know that, once we connected and I began to pour out my own personal story and my life history and all of the abuse that I had personally been through, one of these days you walk up to me and you say to me, you know what, our story is kind of similar. If you want to wrap all of that up, what is it about that story that's similar? What is it about that story from your past that would constitute some level of pain from which a lot of people have refused to break out from?
Well, one of the reasons why I connected with your story is because I grew up with a very, very strict father. A father who knew precisely what he wanted, and he was very firm. And as a child, you don't see things from the perspective of your parents. You see things as a child. Now looking back, I understand. He wanted us to be the best. So without knowing, unconsciously, he was always looking out for all our errors. So for instance, I'd come second in class and I'd expect my father to celebrate and he would say, what happened to the person who came first? Why couldn't you do that? Here was I with friends who maybe one of my friends came 53rd, and he had moved from 54th position and he was rejoicing. And, that guy was celebrating. I couldn't celebrate because I didn't feel my father was satisfied. So he always kept complaining about one error or the other, So I grew up feeling like there was something wrong with me.
How much of that kind of dysfunction affects people?
Oh, a whole lot. And it's all communication. The way, even though your intention is right, the way you communicate is important.
Inside Innocent Minds, the platform for extraordinary people.
So I know that a lot of our parents, weren't taught parenting.
They stumbled into parenting.
Exactly.
Accidentally.
Yeah. And obviously that has affected their approach. Their approach has affected their outcomes. Now, a lot of people from dysfunctional homes are living dysfunctional lives.
Unfortunately, we've got a whole set of these people in public places. We've got a whole set of these people leading organizations, leading teams.
Very true.
In political offices. And it's not so much of a bad nation we have, as much as we have people coming from really traumatized backgrounds.
Very true.
Now,
very true.
Tell us a little bit about your experience with NLP, because you came into NLP, it was not so much of, most of these things that you were looking for to resolve from your past, but so much of how you would sharpen the tools that you use with your work. But then you had personal experiences. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, NLP for me was a great experience. It was a continuation of a journey. I had started this journey, some years back. Like I said, I've always been fascinated about the mind. So I started running trainings on emotional intelligence. It exposed me to a lot about the unconscious mind, and on this journey, I heard about NLP. I had initially thought about, going abroad to do it. And then a gentleman walked up to me and told me about his experience and how the training was really fascinating and all. So I decided I was going to register for it. And that experience, that entire week was incredible. Like you rightly said, it was incredible for me as a person because there were certain, like hearing your own story, I made sense of my own experience. One really important thing that happened to me was I began to change my interpretations of the past. There were certain ways I looked at certain experiences, but I recognized that I may not be able to change the past, but changing my interpretation of the past is well within my control. So that was something that I really took out of the training. But also beyond that, like you said, I train people for a living, and I picked up a whole lot, not just by what was said in class, but by observation. I observed quite a lot of things that, now I infuse into my training, and it yields incredible results.
One of the things that for me speaks volumes is the fact that looking at the relationship that you had with your father, you were out of rapport with your father.
Yeah.
And hearing you talk some time ago, rapport was something key for you through this journey.
Oh,
and
yes.
how you now are taking this rapport skills into what you do, into communicating with people in small groups, in large groups,
Yeah.
individually, and all of that.
Yeah.
Tell us about rapport a little bit.
One fundamental thing I picked was that people like people who are like them. And even in what I do, I'm a life coach, so I always have to interface with people, help them clarify their goals, help them come up with a strategy to executing it. And sometimes when coaching people, I discover that their mind blocks. They want something, but there's something in their mind that's suggesting to them that they can't achieve that thing. So when I hit those blocks, it's important to also investigate and look into their past. What may be causing this block, and for people to open up to you, you have to open up to them. You have to look like you've experienced the same kinds of experiences that you want them to open up with.
You want them to feel comfortable with you.
Feel exactly and trust you.
And that's the key word for me. Rapport is about trust, isn't it?
Oh, definitely.
And Milton Erickson said that in the presence of a good rapport, anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
What has become possible for you in your work with this?
Oh, wow. I've people who before now wouldn't open up. My ability to establish rapport with them has led them to share things that they ordinarily will not share. After this training, I've heard people tell me, I've never told anybody this thing that I'm telling you before. And that's obviously because of my ability to establish rapport. Beyond that, in my trainings, it's an incredible experience because I'm not just connecting to their heads, I'm connecting to their hearts. So it's been great with all this knowledge.
Bankole Williams would often say that people like me make it in life. And he would also go on to say that if it is to be, it is up to me. We'll come back after this short break and we'll get deeper into Bankole's story. You want to hear some of the most earth-shattering truths that help people to shift paradigms and push boundaries. This is Inside Innocent Minds. We'll take a short break. We'll return very, very quickly.
Inside Innocent Minds will be right back. What skills would employees and staff of organizations acquire from NLP leadership training with IMI Consulting and Innocent Minds? Leadership skills. Develop peak performance and motivation. Understand how people tick. Increase your flexibility to work with a variety of contrasting personalities. Experience greater well-being even under very stressful conditions. Elicit valuable unconscious information to help colleagues transform, work easily and productively. To enroll for our NLP courses in Lagos, Abuja, or Jos, please call Jerry on 0806 552 1140 or Talatu on 0803 201 5725. Inside Innocent Minds, the platform for extraordinary people.
Mr. Bankole, I'd like to welcome you back.
Thank you.
Before we went on the break, we're talking about, the massive transformation that you have encountered, studying NLP and how this is really reshaping your work and all of that. People do not understand that for change to happen, it's not necessarily an issue of what they need to do as much as it is who they need to become through the way that they are thinking. And the human mind has such vast reservoirs of possibilities. And many times people are not experiencing that possibility. And coming on this journey and beginning to, you told me that you've always been passionate about studying the human mind and all that it can and will do for people and for our world. What did this journey do for you in that regard, to helping people and helping yourself understanding the power of this gift from God?
Well, I've discovered that a lot of people, what they don't understand, they mystify. So when you want to talk about the mind, people are like, that spooky thing or concept. And that's because they don't understand it. And there's a science to how the mind works. Certain people have studied the mind, and we all need to expose ourselves to this because it's responsible for your results. Your thoughts create your emotions will create your actions will create your outcomes. So if it's responsible for our results, everyone should be interested in any initiative, any training, that would empower them. So for me, this journey has been it's like I said, it's one that I'd started, but studying NLP really just blew it up for me, because it helped me bring structure to all the things that I'd known. I'd been exposed to several bodies of knowledge, but now it's more structured. I can show people, how the mind works, from when you're exposed to a particular situation and how you place an interpretation on it and how that determines what you filter, and all your outcomes. It's helped me put structure. And now I can explain to people how certain paradigms are formed and mindsets are formed. So I believe so strongly that any initiative about how the mind works, everybody should, take interest in it, because it's what is determining where you are today in life.
What is responsible for a lot of the people out there who are change consultants, who seek to change culture in organizations with people who seek to train and to help people? Why is it that in our culture, a lot of people do not seem to be aware that this tool exists?
Well, I would say that our religious biases play a significant role. Because I speak for a living, I hear people say, "Oh, what are you going to tell me that I'm not going to hear in church?" Or, that I won't hear from one religious leader or the other. I don't have to pay for that. Well, the truth of the matter is, if something is of great value to you, you should be able to exchange value for it. So because of how we, in our society, we tend to be so religious, we spiritualize very basic concepts. So somebody has a mental problem, we spiritualize it and we say they're chasing the person from the person's village. That person needs to go for therapy.
Inside Innocent Minds will be right back.
My name is Tolu Ilori. I work with parents and I work with children. I deal more with child psychology. My coming to NLP training was actually to enhance my profession, but I actually realized that I had to work more on myself. I saw where I got stuck most of the time. I saw where I had to build rapport with my clients, and I saw why I was encountering certain difficulty in breaking my clients down. But today, I'm getting more results, I'm a better achiever, and I'm an happy consultant. And this is my NLP story. What's yours?
Inside Innocent Minds, the platform for extraordinary people.
I'd like us to talk a bit about the NLP training and how different this is in comparison to a lot of the things that you have seen yourself. Once you came into the training with Innocent Minds, what was it about the training that was unique?
Well, I'll tell you, the approach was different. The first thing that really got my attention was how we started training. You had mentioned that you wanted us to have an open mind. So there was an exercise we did where we had to remove, whatever knowledge cap that we had. For me, that was interesting because it established the fact that we needed to come open. I also liked all the fun that we had. It made me understand that people need to be in a resourceful state for them to learn. Learning over time for a lot of people has always been a very serious exercise. And for some funny reason, we attach pain to the process of learning, whereas learning can be fun. Yeah, unconsciously. Over time. But I loved the association here, that learning was fun. In fact, after the first day, we had exercises that were called home plays. That change in language alone was very powerful. So I love the fact that it was a mixture of empowerment.
Meanwhile, it was a lot of work.
Yeah, it was.
But we called it play.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, that change in language made it fun, made it an interesting experience.
And people were coming back with a lot of discoveries and amazing aha moments and amazing. What is your take on seeing people share deeply from inside of them issues that they had held onto very tightly, issues that they would confess and say, I never thought I would share this, and people just changing and rolling those tears out and making connections and having to, have this come to this congruent place where they were beginning to resolve issues and were beginning to say, oh, you know what, my future is compelling enough, I want to go there.
Well, you see, in that class, one thing that struck my attention was how practically everyone had a story. And, looking at the larger scale, on a broader scale, looking at, our society, everybody has issues. And those issues, they may be living in denial of the issues, but it doesn't mean that they are going to be resolved.
Absolutely.
Sweeping the dirt underneath the carpet does not make the carpet clean.
No.
One day the carpet or the dirt will be thicker than the carpet. So I feel like that training made me realize that you don't judge a book by the cover. You see someone dresses good, looks good, you'll be amazed the issues that have been unresolved. And one of the reasons that training was so powerful was because there was resolution for the issues. And some of these people have actually sought help in other places, but the truth be told, they didn't get resolution. And that's why they probably just locked it up somewhere, swept it underneath the carpet, living in denial. But this training was one where huge rapport was established and people felt, here's my opportunity to find change.
Did you connect with a couple of people?
Oh, definitely.
Make friends?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, and a number of them they're still my buddies still today.
Inside Innocent Minds will be right back. What skills would employees and staff of organizations acquire from NLP leadership training with IMI Consulting and Innocent Minds? Leadership skills. Develop peak performance and motivation. Understand how people tick. Increase your flexibility to work with a variety of contrasting personalities. Experience greater well-being even under very stressful conditions. Elicit valuable unconscious information to help colleagues transform, work easily and productively. To enroll for our NLP courses in Lagos, Abuja, or Jos, please call Jerry on 0806 552 1140 or Talatu on 0803 201 5725. Inside Innocent Minds, the platform for extraordinary people.
I'm so excited about your, having to connect with us and connect with our work. What's going on right now as we try to close with your work, with the things that you're doing out there? with the people that you're meeting, with all of the rapport skills you've learned and NLP tools that you've picked up, and the amazing things you had before happening for you? What's going on right now?
Well, there's a training I've been doing it for like the past 4 years. This year I decided to change the name with all the things that I learned in NLP. It's something I'm doing repeatedly. In fact, I'm having the next one sometime soon. It's called Mindset Makeover Masterclass.
Amazing class. I've been there myself.
Oh yeah, and with all the knowledge in NLP, it's taking it several notches higher. Right? People are having their own moments of discovery. Like I said, I'm very passionate about how the mind works, and I teach people, how to discover the mindsets that they've had, discover the limiting patterns that have held them, for several years. So that particular training is something that, with my knowledge in NLP has gone to another scale.
This is Inside Innocent Minds, the platform for extraordinary people.
The viewer would not be done justice if they don't hear you answer this question. You work as a consultant, a management consultant with lots of organizations, and a lot of the challenges people have with their staff and at work, they believe is a skill problem, and people need to learn more skills and more skills and more skills, when in actual fact, skill is quite great and very important. Sometimes people have got personal issues they need to resolve. Yeah. And NLP is a huge tool, right?
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
I'd like you to look at that camera and then address someone, maybe somebody who owns a business or someone who works with a couple of staff, and say to them what they need to know in order for them to quickly take some steps and embrace this NLP opportunity.
Yeah. For you out there who's listening to me, I want to tell you, if you're a business person, you're somebody who runs a business of your own, you're a staff, an employee who works somewhere, the truth of the matter is, for you to be able to connect with people, be it your customers or your superiors or your subordinates, you need to be able to establish rapport with them. And that's one fundamental principle that you learn from doing NLP. But beyond that is the fact that, a lot of the challenges that we experience in life are more soft than they are hard or technical. We focus so much time on technical skills, but the truth is, basic communication, human behavior, understanding where people are coming from so that you can connect with them is so important. And truth of the matter is, all of these skills, all of these things are things that you learn from taking part in the neuro-linguistic program. It changed my life, and I believe it will change yours too.
As we end today, I'd like to end with one of Bankole's favorite quote: if it is to be, it is up to you. Do what you need to do beginning right now, so that you can change your story, change your business, change your finances, and change your life story. I'd like to hook up with you again on the same station, same time next week. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye.